What's up? I'm Jasmine. Yo, and I've been doing the comedy. Okay, let's try that again. Oh, hi, I'm Jasmine, and I've been doing comedy for the last 4 years. I don't know how to do this with a serious face. Hello, I'm Jasmine, and I've been doing comedy for 4 years. Well, I was doing improv, which is a dirty word a lot of the time in Canada, but like it was real. Is at Loose Moose Theatre, which is a very prestigious theatre for a long time. And when my kids went to school full time, I thought to myself, what is the scariest thing that you could possibly think of doing? And it was stand up. So I went and took Fiona McGarry's course at the Sit Down, which was fantastic, and then just started gigging from there. Oh, I was a stay-at-home mom all the time, and I spent a large amount of time in the shower trying to think of Facebook, like, what is it, like Facebook statuses that were funny about what was happening, because it was literally the only interaction with other adults that I had in the day, because I had two small kids and I was home all the time by myself with them, and so I changed a lot of diapers and cleaned a lot of house, and learned how to cook. And the secret ingredient is resentment. I think it's getting away with a lot of stuff. Like I get to say pretty much whatever I want and I get away with it. And I spend a lot of my time thinking about how to say things that I want to say, but have never really been able to say, but how to say it in a way that makes people laugh and get it. You know what I mean? Like I get to say the things that I want people to get, but in a way that kind of slowly tricks them into understanding where I'm coming from because they're laughing about it. At the Sit Down, just in the Fiona McGarry course. So that was my very first gig, and I bombed horribly. People came up to me afterwards and said, "Are you okay?" And I thought I was fine, but it's when those people come up to you and they're like, "Are you? It's okay." And you're like, and I'm like, "I thought it was okay, but now I know it wasn't." So there was one time when I got on stage and I hadn't even opened my mouth, and one guy looked at me and went, "Nope," and stood up and left. And there was only 3 other people in the audience, so it was quite noticeable. And there was another time at a gig, and I got up, and the MC before had made all these misogynist statements. And I'd gigged with him a few times, and a few times he introduced me. Like one of them was like, he pointed to a girl in the audience and said, "Those are spectacular tits. Now here's Jasmine Fairbairn." Or this time he said, "It's easy to be a woman because you can fuck your way to the top. Now here's Jasmine Fairbairn." And because the gig was terrible, I opened with, "Who did I accidentally fuck to get this place?" Nobody else thought that was as funny as I did. And then I got musicked off after 3 minutes because I was this close to calling the audience the C word. Or crying. So, yeah. My favorite comedian is Sarah Silverman. Now, I think my favorite comedian right now is Sarah Silverman, or I really like, if we're talking about local, we're talking about like Mel Buttle is amazing. Fiona O'Loughlin is incredible. Sarah Silverman is one of my favorite, professional famous comedians. Or Robin Williams was my favorite, deep in my heart from when I was a kid. Robin Williams was my jam. Meeting Fiona O'Loughlin, I reckon, because when I was in Canada, before I had kids and before I started any sort of comedy or was doing anything, I saw her on a lineup in Calgary, where I'm from, and she just did a 5-minute set, but it was so funny and so likable, and I was just like, oh my God, that's what I want to be. That's what I want to be. And it wasn't for another 15 years that I ended up trying to do it. But when I met her at this one gig, and side note, I absolutely destroyed this gig too, and she heard it, and I came into the room and she was like, "That was amazing," and then I was like, "Oh my God, I like thank you so much. And I frightened her. There's a picture of me just like, ah, and her being like, oh. But I definitely think that was a highlight during my career. Look, it's gotten really, really sensitive in the time from when I started till now. It was starting when I first started, but now it's like you're really aware of what you can say and what you can't say and what you're going to get away with, which is not a problem. It's just an adjustment, right? And I think you should be more aware of what you're saying and if people are going to like it or not. It isn't all the audience dictates everything that you do, and it isn't all you can say whatever you want. You have to find that sweet spot in between where you are making them laugh and you are making them think, and you're not just by offending them. So yeah, I think that's really the only way it's changed, because I haven't been doing it super long. So if you're just starting out, my advice is twofold. One, just write all the time. Write everything, write it all, write. That's the best way you're going to move forward. And two, be on stage as much as possible. And just keep going, because it's going to suck a lot. And then it's going to be great. And it's going to be like heroin. Like you're chasing that one, the first high, you're chasing that forever, and you'll never achieve it. Well, I'm not doing as much comedy. I'm doing a lot more writing. So I've written a show with Jenny Winter that we are pitching. I do a lot of writing for content creation company. I've done a lot of my own plays. I've written a lot of my own plays. So right now we're going to be taking my play to Adelaide Fringe. And before that, the 2 weeks before we do my play in the Fringe, we're doing Greg Fleet's play for 2 weeks before that. So we're trying to sort of put together a little bit of a theater company with Fleet. And yeah, I think that's kind of, I don't really have any big comedy. I think with comedy you have to branch out a lot. Because I'm a mom and because my kids are here, I can't be one of those touring comedians who is gone all the time. So I need to sort of add different things that I'm doing with it. And so I'm writing plays. Hi. Okay, you can like my comedian page on Facebook, which is Jasmine Fairbairn Comedian. You can like me on Insta, which is Jazzmaniac. I'm gonna have a web page up soon at jazzfair.com. If you go to it now, it looks like shit.